This is By the Wayside, a show dedicated to introducing you to creative people. And today is no different. On today's episode of By the Wayside, I speak with illustrator Beige Blum, and our conversation blossoms into some deep thought. See what I did there? Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. And with me today is, and we had this conversation off camera, about what to call you, cartoonist or illustrator, and I'm going to go with illustrator. Illustrator Beige Blum is with me today. Beige, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy day and coming into Wayside Comics and Cocktails and really getting into some hard-hitting questions.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I love the space so much.
Yeah, it's a really nice space. A lot of people really enjoy coming, being a part of the community that is here. Omar is a very welcoming personality, and the store is very warm. It's a nice place to be. I agree with you. It's a nice place. Beige, we're going to get right into the questions, and like with every guest, I like to tell them what it is ahead of time. And I always say, if there's a question you don't want me to ask, you are more than welcome to say, don't ask that question.
Yep.
Now, the question about your childhood trauma, we had to cut.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, we were crying. It was a big production. Don't start. You're going to get me going.
I'm really sorry. Sorry. It's okay. I'm okay.
Okay, thank you. Beige. Oh my God, Beige. Beige, your art is brilliant and filled with life and very vibrant. It's good acting. Regardless of the message that you're trying to convey with your artwork. Is that art style on purpose, or has it evolved from something else?
I'd say that it kind of evolved naturally, especially in my more current work. I do a lot of like risograph printing, and through risograph printing, you can get like a lot of...
Sorry. In all my acting, I started to cry. Okay, sorry, Beige. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead.
But yeah, you can get a lot of like super vibrant colors. And I always really like loved super punchy like artwork, and I was like, oh, I could achieve that in a printing medium through risograph. So now as I like illustrate like my own work, I always think about printing it in risograph. So I'm always leaning towards like fluorescent colors or colors that are like super high contrast or really punchy together. So it's kind of like evolved over time. I think originally I worked in very like soft pastel colors.
Okay.
But like more and more as I've gotten more confident with my art, I think the colors have also become more punchy and confident. Yeah.
I like that when you start, or you have a sort of an end game in mind when it comes to like with the risographs. You know, I want to draw this, but I want to make sure that it translates well to this sort of media that is, I was going to say it's almost made for it, but with risograph, it's that level of it could be absolutely anything. But I really like that you have an end goal in mind when you start a piece. Your schooling at, and I what's the acronym? It's OCAD.
OCAD-U, I think.
But it's the Ontario College of Art and Design. I had to make sure I read it. Has your schooling at the Ontario College of Art and Design altered how you approach art?
Yes, I think when I was a kid and into high school, because I went to an arts high school, shout out Father John Redmond, we were kind of like given free reign in that school to kind of like produce whatever it is we wanted. We were given criteria, but we were given free reign. There was no really like methodology. So from my childhood to high school, I always kind of just like drew. There was no real like step-by-step or like thinking, because I wasn't thinking editorially. I wasn't thinking if this is for a client. I was drawing solely for me.
Oh, okay.
So going to OCAD, they really prep you to be able to show your work each step of the way as if you were presenting it to a client. I know this might be different for people who study like drawing and painting, but in illustration, they always say illustration is a art that's communicative. And if people aren't understanding what you're saying through your piece, then the illustration's failed. So we worked in a very like step-by-step process. Thumbnails is not something I do, but I do now. Like testing colors separately on like a smaller thumbnail to see what I want to do. Like I do a lot more steps, but prior to that, I was just like balls to the walls, like just winging it. Like, and I was like, okay, it looks good. But no, OCAD's given me a lot more structure.
So the schooling did its job.
Yes, I would say that.
Also, I just want to sort of throw this out there that OCAD did not pay for that
No.
product placement in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely not.
But it would have been nice.
Yeah.
Here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails, it's no surprise that comic books are typically involved when an artist comes on the show by the wayside. Your first trip into comic book work was the award-winning Witch Hazel with fellow storyteller Colton Fox. How did you overcome the potential worry of doing sequential art?
I think I still have that worry, actually. It doesn't go away. I've always wanted to do comics, even when I was a kid. Illustration kind of just was like the path where I was like, okay, well, this is more likely. Like I can become an editorial illustrator, and that's a more likely job. I can still do art, but it's, you know, professional. Not that comics are professional. But I've always wanted to do comics, but I was scared. I was really scared of making something that didn't resemble the work I looked up to. In one of my favorite courses in OCAD, Fiona Smith taught me, and she was so passionate and supportive and loving. And I remember finishing that course and hearing her say, like, I can't wait to see you published one day. And I was like, oh, I've got to do it for Fiona. Like, I really want to do this. Like, I'm going to fail, but I'm going to try my best. And same with Chris Kuzma, who was my thesis professor, like, was very much like, you can do it. I believe in you. And it always said stuff like, he's always like, you belittle yourself too much. Like, you don't see your achievements at like face value. You're always like diminishing them. Like, you got to stop doing that. And like, you're doing it, like, just go for it. Right. And Colton, who I started working with, like we met during the process of creating.
That's the writer,
yes,
the fellow storyteller Colton Fox, the writer of Witch Hazel.
Yes, we had met through starting that process together. We didn't really know each other prior to that. And Colton is so supportive, and I know that if I am cautious of what I'm doing or worried it's not right, I know that Colton will critique me in a way that's supportive and helpful. I'm not scared of messing up anymore because our duo is so, it's like we're like Bluetooth connected at the brain. Like, he gets me so well. Like, every problem is something that can be overcome. Like, we can figure out a story and how to present it together. And it's made me more comfortable, like, working in comics, like, on my own as well. So those are my big three, like,
awesome.
Just like really supportive, like, just do it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, practice makes perfect, you know?
It sounds like you continuing to overcome the imposter syndrome of it all, but you started with a great supportive backbone of, you know, your teachers and professors, and it continues on with someone like Colton, who is just there to support you and almost like your other half in terms of your creative other half.
Yeah, we always talk, he's like, you're my life partner in comics. Like, we're platonic life partners in comics. But yeah.
That's pretty funny. I like that. I like that a lot. Beige, it's no secret that you play Dungeons and Dragons and other board games, of course. Has either of those helped you with a creative problem or a project that you might have currently been working on?
I'd say the biggest thing D&D helps me with, because I love it so much, is actually art block.
Yeah.
Like, getting out of art block. When you get really into a campaign and you love it so much, the thing about D&D is you're a fandom of 5 people. Like, nobody else knows the characters. It's like your group is the only people who know. So in order to, I don't know, have a fandom space that a lot of like people yearn for, you have to make it yourself. And I used to be so scared of people seeing my sketches or my uncompleted work, but my love for D&D has like triumphed that so much. And it really helps me in terms of like getting my sketches from sketch to final, like that push to get the sketch into something bigger. Not that sketches like have to be some amazing finished work. Like, you can sketch for fun. Love doing that. It's actually really good for you. Yeah, like moving me and getting me to move from sketch to final, and being excited to draw and drawing for me. I think that's something I always struggled with. I felt guilty drawing for me after getting out of university, but I'd say like, yeah, creatively, like inspiring me to make. And the themes that exist in my work, a lot of them are inspired from the joys I get like playing D&D.
That's cool.
And like the thematics of D&D. So yeah. You
had just said, answering that question, that sketching is really important for you. And when you said it, you were very much saying for you, not necessarily you. Can you touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I feel that when you're always working to have like a beautiful finished piece, you put too much pressure on yourself. I think if you're sketching for fun all the time, it keeps you loose, it keeps you ready to draw, it keeps your mind open and creative, look for inspiration anywhere. I get inspired all the time to make like little comics about conversations I have with my friends, and they don't have to be anything I post. It's just for fun. And I think you can never, once you lose the fun of drawing, it's like over. You gotta have and keep that for yourself. Like even if you don't post it, like just keep that for yourself, and I think that'll motivate you to continue creating your art.
Interesting.
Yeah, and also just practice makes perfect. It keeps you prepped. It keeps you continuing, to get better at honing your craft. Like just sketch as much as you can.
To take it another step further, when you're talking about sketching being good for you, do you see the potential positive applications of sketching for anyone in their daily life that isn't necessarily artistically inclined?
Yeah, I think it's therapeutic. Like putting thought to paper, like I think we as humans, this is about to get philosophical. I think we as humans all have this urge to be creative. I think that's why a lot of people go into AI art, because they have this inherent need to be creative. They don't want to do all the steps to becoming good at the craft. They just want the validation of creating something now in this moment. So I can get the pull to do that, but it feels so much better doing it yourself. Thought to paper, it's yours, it's just for you. There's a sense of like peace of mind when you really get into like the flow of just drawing and drawing. I find that it like keeps me calm, keeps me happy. If I'm just drawing for me, there's no like end goal to it. But yeah, I think like we as people are like inherently creative beings. And if you want to express yourself creatively, whether you're an artist or not, like I definitely recommend sketching or drawing in any form.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that'll fulfill a lot of need in people that they don't realize they have.
I like that. I like that someone with an artistic background can really amplify how positive being artistic / creative can truly be. Because like I had said before, the mandate of this show is to introduce the audience to creative people, but inherently, I agree with you. Everybody wants to be creative.
Yeah.
There is a level of creativity that whether or not you're cutting straight lines in your grass in your backyard, or when you're trimming plants in your living room and you want that sort of asymmetrical look.
Yeah.
I kind of went very like botanized. That's not a word. I kind of went sort of the botany direction of that, but that's just the first two things that came to mind.
Yeah.
Beige, don't go anywhere. We've got lots more coming up right after this short little break. If you don't go anywhere, I promise I won't go anywhere either. All right?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me too. Don't go anywhere.
This is By the Wayside, and we'll be right back.
I don't do that. I haven't done this for 2 years. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. I am still with illustrator / cartoonist. Same thing. Beige Bloom. Thank you again for coming in. There's lots and lots more of Oh my God. Beige. There's lots and lots and lots of more hard-hitting questions. You don't get to go anywhere until we talk about your childhood trauma.
Okay.
Just kidding. This one might do it.
Okay.
Tell me about your artwork series titled Not Your Waifu.
Ooh, okay. Not Your Waifu was my thesis project, actually. So it was a personal project that I did over the span of a year, my last year at university. And I wanted to do something that was very important to me in the community I'm part of. And that is racism and fexualization against Asian, particularly Asian women. For those of you who don't know, I'm half Filipino. So I've experienced it. People in my family, other Asian women I know in my life have experienced it. I wanted to take this moment to like really focus and hone in on that because it's so nuanced. Each piece in that series discusses a different aspect of fetishization of Asian women and how it's dangerous, and like the associations made. Yeah. Because that also differs between different ethnicities. So in my piece, Wish You Weren't Here, that is based on ideas of sex tourism and violence against women. At the time that I made that piece, there was a horrible incident in the States where a man entered I believe it was a salon, a spa area, and he committed a hate crime against the women who worked there. And his idea that these women owed him something, specifically Southeast Asian women owed him something, or like were inherently these kind of people, I don't know, caused him to commit violence on them. I was just so distraught by it, and I wanted to create something that was meaningful for me and could express this kind of solidarity that I saw rise up in the Asian community regarding this issue. And that a lot of the times in these cases, it's a lot of women supporting women.
Yes.
And that was really big for me. I also released a comic titled Not Your Waifu, the same as the series. And that's how people have kind of like a parasocial or like fantastical view or romanticization of Asian women, seeing them as like the embodiment of like their anime or like whatever fantasies, and like sexualizing women, Asian women, based on that. And that we don't exist to be your waifu, your wife. We are people with autonomy. We aren't your like Asian fantasy. Like, we are people. So yeah, that was what my thesis was about. Sorry guys, kind of sad.
When I said childhood trauma, I come up to your adulthood, and now it's just like, wow, it is a talk about trauma. It's interesting. Beige, with Not Your Waifu, the importance of it shouldn't be lost, of course, on any individual that knows about it, sees anything about it, and of course watches what you just described here on By the Wayside. But in terms of all that, have you ever had any negative pushback on that?
Not on the thesis itself, I haven't, but I've had pushback into the way that I'm presented, which is it's interesting. So I'm a mixed race person. People would argue whether or not I'm white passing or how I look. A lot of times, people don't see me and see someone who's Asian.
Okay.
And one time I was showcasing my work, and someone came to me and they're like, "Oh, like, what do you mean our community?" When I discussed, violence against Asian women. And I was like, "Oh, I'm Asian too. This affects me, it affects my family, affects my friends, beyond that, it affects our community."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh." She left and came back and was like, "Are you sure? Like, what are you?" And I was like, "Filipino." And she's like, "How much?" And it's like, do I have to call my mother and get her on the phone for you to see that she's Asian? Like, I think I understand it though. Like, people, like, there's an idea of like kind of conserving our community, and you don't want people speaking for you that aren't you.
Of course.
But it definitely makes it difficult as someone who's mixed and maybe doesn't present solely as Asian, that can be confusing for people. But it definitely like freaked me out a bit. Where I'm like, "Oh, am I not Asian enough? Like, I know I'm Asian. Like, who are you to be asking if I'm Asian?" But mostly the people interacting with that series, it's all been positive. Sometimes I think they see the bright colors, and that confuses them into thinking
that takes us back to the first question. Beige. Let's visit that question again. Oh my goodness, I wrote so much. This is the question I literally asked you, and it was based on the fact that your artwork is very bright. And the question I said was, your art is bright and filled with life and vibrant. Regardless of the message you're trying to convey, is your art style on purpose? Like, I'm Not Your Waifu is a very poignant, story and way to convey all of the things that you had said, like the negative connotations about like sexualization of Asian women.
Yeah.
But when you see a brightly colored image, it can potentially be confusing.
Yeah, like people come in, they see my art, it draws them in from a distance. They're like, "That's so cool. Tell me about this." And then I hit them with the 1-2. Like, the first one is, "The art's so nice," and the second one is, "This means more than you think it does. Beyond the bright colors, like, there's meaning here." And that usually gets people like even more excited. They're like, "I loved it. This is beautiful as an art piece. And now I know it means more than just fluorescent pink, fluorescent blue, and fluorescent yellow, like there's more going on here." Yeah, exactly.
I like it. And I was going to ask, that being said, what about the positive? But I think there's a community of Asian women or Asian people that say like, yes, this definitely needs to be brought to the forefront. So I'm asking the question is like, do you have any positive feedback? There has to be positive feedback. There has to be.
I made so many friends and had so many one-on-one conversations with people who've experienced the stuff that I try to communicate in my art, and it's been really beautiful getting to like talk to these people and like feeling seen.
Yeah. I like that. I like to hear that. It's unfortunate, of course, that negativity oftentimes, or trauma, I'll just say trauma. Trauma is oftentimes the bonding that people have to experience, the trauma bonding of it all. It's unfortunate, but I'm happy to hear that there is a positivity that comes from such a important message with your artwork and your series, I'm Not Your Waifu. I think it's incredible.
Thank you.
That being said, your trauma, just kidding. What was the best advice you were given regarding your illustration career path? When we talked off camera, you, out of all the questions I had said to you, you were just like, oh, that's a good one. Like, it was just like, that's the thinker one out of all of them.
Yeah, I don't know that there's one instance. I think there was just kind of a constant repetition of don't stop, like don't give up.
It feels like the stories that you told about your teachers, it seems like your teachers and professors seem to have a very large positive influence on you, almost, never give up, never surrender kind of idea.
Yeah, I think going to art school too, you make so many friends, and being in art is hard. Like, it's definitely a field that will wear you down. It's like, depending on which sector of art you're into, like it can be more or less difficult. And I've seen a lot of my friends or my peers just like give up.
Yeah. And
some of these people were like fantastic, like beautiful creative minds, beautiful art styles, amazing work ethic, and stars in the line, or art, you have to do it as a side hustle. There's no time for art. I can understand being like, well, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. Or, I'll do it on the side, but it won't be a big part of my life. And that's fine. I understand that. But Mama didn't raise a quitter. Like, I can't stop. Like, I've always wanted this, and I've wanted it so bad since I was a kid. And
before we even continue, the question I have right underneath that is did you always want to be an illustrator?
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's like illustration led me back to comics. It was funny. Like, when I was a kid, I wanted to draw manga.
Yeah.
I wanted to draw shoujo manga. And I was like, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to become a mangaka. I'm going to live in Japan. I'm going to draw shoujo manga.
Look at face covering.
So embarrassing. My friends who know me since elementary school know. But yeah, and I was like, I had that same thought that a lot of my artist friends had, whereas like, it's not doable. Like, it'll never, like, I won't be able to make comics. Like, how would I ever attain that? The next best thing was like illustration, where I'm like, okay, I can still get paid to draw. I can develop my craft. I can, I'm still drawing. It just won't be like sequential storytelling.
Yeah.
And through OCAD, I got reintroduced back into like a comic and zine community. And I was like, no, I can do this, but I'm scared. And yeah, it was just the constant repetition of my peers, my professors, people in my life being like, just don't stop. Like, you want this so bad, like, just keep going. And I've just been living that life, and it's been going well so far.
That's awesome.
But I don't know. Like, there's not one thing. I think it's just the constant support of the people in my life that have got me.
Support is massively important.
Yeah.
What do they say in Link? It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. In this instant, take this would be support.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous to go is to raw dog, creative life. So it's always important to have that support system, whether or not it's one person, whether or not it's multiple people. Support is massive.
Yeah, I always tell people too, because I have a lot of people ask me, well, I'm tabling or signing, like I want to do comics, or I want to do this, that, and the third. Like, what should I do? And my big thing is always like, you should join a club.
Yeah.
You should be with your peers who are going to support your work or are interested in the same thing you do. If you can't find that within yourself, like, you can definitely find it within others. I'm always big into recommending like zine clubs, comic clubs, whatever you can get your hands on, because community is important.
Community is absolutely important. I agree 100%. Beige, don't go anywhere, because right after this, we are going to get right into the new segment, the D20 questions.
Ooh.
I know you're very excited about that. So you, again, don't go anywhere. I promise not to go anywhere. And you, of course, if you're watching this in the comfort of your home, you do whatever you want, but don't go anywhere. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. This is the new infamous segment, the D20 question segment, where all of my guests, today's guest, Beige Blum, of course, I got the rules right here. Here they are.
Ooh.
I didn't order them correctly. So with the D20 questions, Beige,
Yes.
I will tell you, so that it's also a reminder for the audience, you will roll a D20. If you roll between a 1 and a 10, so 1 or a 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I will ask you a serious question. But if you roll 11 to a 20, which would be, of course, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I will ask you a non-serious, silly question.
Okay.
And in case anyone's curious, I got a lot of cue cards for you today for some reason. I have both serious and silly questions right here. So they're like, that's how serious I am about this new segment, the D20 questions. So Beige, I'm going to get you to grab that D20.
Okay.
And because like I just said to you, I haven't quite mastered the second camera of it all. We're just going to do it. This is like guerrilla style. You go nuts.
DIY. It's okay. I love zines. This is like the zine equivalent of filming. An 8. A serious question.
Oh. All right. So on By the Wayside, putting this, I don't know what I'm doing. On By the Wayside, the show that you are currently a guest on and that everyone is watching here now, I always say I like to have fun. And when I have started writing the serious and silly questions, I thought if we're going to go through the lengths of doing a serious question, it should be very serious. Serious question. Serious question, ladies and gentlemen. The serious question is,
yes,
at your website, beigebloom.com.
Yes.
It's been added to your bio that you are a biracial queer illustrator.
Yes.
Why is it important to have that distinction? Keeping in mind, I did not tell you this question beforehand like I do with every other question.
I know, I didn't have time to prep. I think it, right from the get-go, I think if you haven't seen my work and you're getting to know me through my bio, let's say, those things are a part of me. My identity is kind of very important to me. I don't necessarily love labels, but I do think that those are communities or identities that I do feel closely with. And I think that they inspire the work I create. I think the work and what I go by and what I'm known as, these things are interconnected. You know, I want also people seeing my work to be able to look at my bio and know that I'm a safe space, you know, that I'm a member of their community, that, yeah, I don't know. I want people to, I think that's the little tidbits I give people to get to know me and the spheres I, you know, exist in. I think I know a lot of like faceless artists, like on Twitter and whatever, you see their art and that's, you know, beautiful stuff. But I think sometimes like with a missing identity kind of artist, there is a level of
relatability.
Relatability. I want to be like, I want to be in the spaces I'm in. I want to be known as what I am because I want people to know that I'm like them.
Yeah,
you know, I want, and when I do things that are big, like publishing a book or, you know, what have you, when I win, I feel like it's a win for everyone. And I want to see people like me get those wins. You know, I love seeing when another fellow queer creator is doing great. I love seeing it. I love more queer books being published, queer artists doing big things. I love to see it. I love other, you know, Asian, biracial men, women, NBs, like winning big. I love seeing them get to do what they're doing, you know, and so on and so forth. Like that's important to me. And I kind of hope in putting myself out there in that way and identifying that way and being very honest about it, that I can also be that for other people. Yeah, it's just kind of like a level of transparency, just to give you a better view of myself, my art, and the life and world I live in.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. It's extremely important. I'm not one to disagree or agree, but I agree. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great, Beige. Beige, again, thank you very much for coming on today's episode of By the Wayside, taking the time out of your day to have the audience know a little bit more about you. Yeah,
thanks for having me. It's been great to be here.
Awesome.
This comic shop, you guys, it's beautiful. If you're in Newmarket, you got to come here. If this is not a sponsored thing, I actually love this comic shop so much. I tell everybody about it. It's beautiful here.
Awesome.
Oh,
Now I
Oh
gotta
God,
cut that
so
whole
exciting.
thing out.
I'm so excited, you guys. I can't stop. But yeah, no, thank you for having me.
No problem, Beige, no problem. Hey, stick around. There's a little bit more left in this episode, and yeah, we'll be right back. All I want to do is just have lots and lots and lots of fun. And that's what we did on today's episode of By the Wayside. I think you could agree. Every episode of By the Wayside takes those steps further to introduce you, the audience, to creative people. I am your host, Jordan Middlebrook, and I can't thank my guest, Beige Bloom, enough for coming to Wayside Comics and Cocktails and participating in this episode of By the Wayside. That was a booming, deep booming voice. Yes, it was. Had lots of fun. I love my new D20 questions segment. I think it's absolutely the cat's pajamas. I can try and do that voice every so often now. I think it's kind of fun. Don't you agree? I'm Jordan Middlebrook, host of By the Wayside. If you are interested in commenting, liking, subscribing, following, sharing, and all the fun little tidbits that come along with social media, boom. I encourage you to, sorry, someone walked by there. I encourage you to follow all of these. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, websites there somewhere. All the really fun things that you could find on social media. We are literally everywhere. Your host, Jordan Middlebrook, you can't get rid of them. Also, let's go back to here. If you're feeling a bit saucy, if you see my name here, you'll see Jordan Middlebrook, hosted By the Wayside, and then the Instagram is vacation.jordan. That's me. It's just like my little cozy corner of the internet where I create content creation. A cozy Canadian creating content. If there's one thing that I love, it's alliteration, and I hope that you do too as well. Thank you to my guest, Beige Bloom, for coming in today. Thank you to Omar Sayer, owner and purveyor and operator of Wayside Comics and Cocktails, for allowing me to record this episode and every episode of By the Wayside here in Newmarket, Ontario. It's super nice of him. He's a super nice guy. Come on down wherever you are. Doesn't matter where you are. Come on down or come on up. Just come on over to Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario. Get yourself a hot chocolate. Get a great Omar Recommends of comic book, board game, movie. Talk to Omar. He's lots of fun. He's a really nice guy. What else do I have? Thank you to Wayside Creative, which is a publishing imprint that is focused on innovative storytelling from people like you, from innovative voices. It's great. Check them out as well. Yep. I didn't write anything else down after that. So with that in mind, I'll catch you by the wayside. I'll catch you by the wayside. That was dumb. I'm sorry. Catch you by the wayside. Ugh.